Yes, I only hunt Blaculas.
Oh, so you only hunt African-American vampires?
No, sometimes I hunt British vampires. They don't have African-Americans in England.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So I hunt Blaculas.
I was just trying to be...
Man, I specialize in hunting black vampires. I don't know what the PC name for that is.
Golan-Globus, welcome back. If you have any friends or family in Florida, you may have to give this episode directly to them because you know Ron DeSantis will not allow us on any platform in Florida this month.
Why?
Because it's Black History Month.
We're going woke, so we're gonna go broke.
Exactly.
We kind of technically are because we. It's not our fault. It's your guys' fault because about 20 of you just disappear whenever we do this month.
All we're here to do is to champion.
All we're here is to educate.
We're here to educate,
and
entertain, talk about some great fucking black actors,
right.
Black directors, black writers that did some great shit.
Celebrate.
Yeah,
but before we get to that, Griff, I have to make an announcement. People listening to this show, they probably we're almost doing 5 years on this show, Griff. This is our 5th annual Blaxploitation History Month, by the way.
Is it 5th or 4th?
No, it's our 5th. Name one other podcast that's done one, first of all. So you're welcome. But people are listening. They're like, you've been around this 5 years, but you've never done like Die Hard or Escape from New York or Terminator, all these classic movies. Like, well, why haven't you done these movies? And here's the thing. We're a comedy show, right? I think, Griff, right? We're a comedy show.
Sometimes we're comedy.
And so we always steered clear of like these kind of movies because we felt like these are perfect movies. Like, how are we going to mind the humor? Like,
right.
So we don't want to be like, oh, this was cool and that was cool. Because,
It's hard. It's definitely the hardest to do the movies that we love because it's really hard to find anything where we're just not,
But is it, Griff? Because a month ago we broke the rules. And we did Conan the Barbarian, which is a movie we both like.
Absolutely.
And think's a great movie.
Oh.
And judging by the feedback we got, you guys liked it too. So I'm just going to announce that we're going to break the rules once again in a future episode. I don't know which one. I floated the idea out there on Twitter, first of all. I wanted to test the waters. And overwhelmingly, people wanted us to do this movie.
The Torpidity came back good?
It came back good. So we're going to be doing, I don't know, because we have a lot of milestone episodes coming up. We got our birthday episode, and if I did the math right, the very next episode's our 250th episode.
Crazy.
And then like the next month, I believe, is our 5th anniversary officially.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. When did Pavel get married? Because we started around the time Pavel got married. Was it April or May? It was in that area.
Fucking nuts to me, man.
Okay. So we're going to be doing a little movie. My favorite movie of all time, Griff. We're going to do Road Warrior sometime in the near future.
Oh, hell yes.
Now, here's the thing, though. If you're coming into this episode thinking it's going to be like basically a Wikipedia page where we're just going to tell you the facts, no, we don't do that shit.
We don't do that.
There's tons of podcasts that do that. They basically just read the IMDb page. We don't. That's boring. That's why I don't listen to those podcasts.
Yes,
because I find that boring. What I like to do, and this is why we do our copying a feel thing with our guests. I want to know what is it about this movie. What it makes you feel. What are your interpretations?
Right.
That's what we do.
The facts of the movies rarely change. Like, you might find out some shit years later.
Yeah, that's the thing. What are we going to bring that you're not already going to know?
Exactly. And so the fun of it is, like, people have been doing this with these movies. They've been around since the 80s for the last 30 years. And now it's becoming more of
40 years now?
Yeah, for a lot of them.
Yeah.
And so it's really easy to hear people talk about it 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Well, we're putting another coat of polish on it. We're talking about it in today's day and age. C words everywhere. We got, crazy governors saying that you can't educate people on Black history movies, Blaxploitation movies. So here we are with the new whole lens on how to view these movies.
So Road Warrior is a very important movie to me. Like I said, it's my favorite movie of all time. Max is my favorite character, especially the Max of the Road Warrior movie. I relate to him a lot, and so you're going to learn probably a lot about me when we're doing this episode. And, of course, Griff's going to have his observations, too. It's not going to be a one-man show. But after I let that out, and people seemed receptive to it, I was like, should we do Mad Max first? I put a poll up. I said,
oh, yeah.
Because the beauty of Road Warrior is you don't really need to see Mad Max to appreciate Road Warrior.
You don't.
And 80% of the people said they want us to do Mad Max first.
Okay.
And I'm fine with it because I like Mad Max. But then again, the last time we listened to our audience, we had to do Caligula. So I don't know. I don't know if I trust our audience.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. Maybe like a birthday episode will be Mad Max, and maybe the 5th anniversary will be Road Warrior.
We also did choose to do Kinshete the one time, and so we're 1-1 with the audience on bad decisions.
Yeah.
So I think they deserve another chance, and
I mean, no, I love Mad Max. I don't love it as much as Road Warrior, but yeah, I'm all for doing it.
Yeah.
So I mean, fuck, if we're gonna do Road Warrior, of course we're eventually gonna do Mad Max. You know us, we just do shit out of order. We don't do anything.
We've already done Thunderdome.
Right, exactly. We did that like 3 years ago.
Maybe someday we'll have to. That'll pin us down on doing Fury Road as well.
I think we almost have to do it just so I can explain to people why it's not as good as Road Warrior. Because here's the thing: when I saw Fury Road, I enjoyed it. I wasn't blown away like most people were. Maybe because we've been doing these movies with great action for years now that we weren't like a lot of people hadn't seen a great like real action movie.
Practical
effects.
Yeah.
So their minds were.
Stunts.
There's like a generation that hasn't seen that, so they were blown away. We've been like wallowing in that kind of shit for the past 5 years. So so I was like, oh, it's okay, you know. And as time's gone on, and I hear people go, no, this is the definitive Mad Max movie. This is the greatest. I'm growing to hate this fucking movie.
Yeah, it gets frustrating.
We were just talking before we started about how Rick and Morty, how like there's this big issue, like the guy behind is a creep, and they booted him out. And we were saying how we enjoyed Rick and Morty, we hated the fan base.
Well, think about this: the same thing's happening with Tom Hardy in that movie because apparently he was a total cunt.
Yeah.
And so now it's become this whole thing where, no, we got to cut Tom Hardy out, even though it's the Mad Max fucking movie.
Well, they did, because they're doing the next movie's Furiosa.
Furiosa.
He's not even involved.
Which I think is cool. Do whatever we want in the world. Just don't call it Mad Max Furiosa or something.
I don't think they are. I think they're just going to call it Furiosa.
Good.
And, yeah, I mean, it bums me out as far as, like, George Miller is like in his 70s now. He's not going. How many movies is he going to make? I'd love to see one last Max movie.
Oh my God, actual Max movie.
Yes, and it could be the death of Max, where they just kill him off.
That's fine.
Because I know once if he dies and the rights go to some company, they're just going to fuck it up.
So bad. It's one of those beautiful things where we still have the writer, creator, director guy of it. It's like you would like to see him end it, but it's exactly what you said.
Right.
Studios got to buy the rights. Next thing you know, Chris Hemsworth is Mad Max.
He's going to be in Furiosa. I'm not kidding.
God damn it! How did I?
Chris Pratt would be Mad
Chris
Max.
Pratt, yeah.
All the Chris's would be in that.
4
movie.
Chris's of the apocalypse.
Right. So look for that in the future. But getting back to what you guys are here for.
This is exciting because you never know with the Blaxploitation movie. Because yes, some of them were done by white studios and everything.
As well as American International, yeah.
Right. But this movie is actually directed by a black man.
That's good to know.
What's his name here? I got it. William Crane. He also did Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde.
I've seen that.
How do you like that one? Maybe we'll have to pick that one up in the future.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do a Blaxploitation Schlocktober month because there's enough. There's Blackenstein. There's, like you said,
Dr. Black and Mr. Hyde.
Okay, I always fuck it up. So I'm like, is it Dr. Black, Mr. White? Okay.
Right.
There's The Beast Must Die, which is the Black Werewolf movie.
Okay.
And they never did Creature from the White Lagoon. Oh.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good call.
I don't know.
You got to do that one.
So, yeah, we could do that. There's Abby, too, which was the Black Exorcist, which has William Marshall in it as the Exorcist.
This movie launched his career.
And it kind of killed it because I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Well, I looked up his IMDb, and he's mainly a TV guy. I know he was on an episode of Star Trek, 'cause I remember him from that.
Wasn't that his icon in IMDb?
Might have been.
It was, yeah. It definitely was.
I mean, if you're a millennial, you probably know him best as the king of cartoons from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh. That's an older millennial thing.
Yeah, that's like a late Gen X, older millennial.
Yeah,
'Cause I was like 12 or something, or 13 or 14 when Pee-wee
it's like I know
was on.
Mike's big into Pee-wee.
Yeah.
He's a few years older than me. I never really did Pee-wee.
Yeah.
But just know of it. So yeah, we got an actual black director here. We got the nice fact that Mike told us is that they wanted a name Blacula. What was the name they wanted to give him? I don't remember what he said.
It was just a boring name, like Andrew something. It was like a regular person name.
Right.
And first of all, great move casting William Marshall as Blacula because he's basically the Black Christopher Lee. Like,
so good.
He brings a gravitas to it, a seriousness. Even when he's telling jokes, he says it in such a way that, it's not obnoxious.
He just perfectly fits in
He
every setting.
He has that great commanding voice, that like
Right.
Shakespearean type like elocution.
Yeah.
And he plays it straight.
And
because originally I think they wanted like a jive talking vampire, and like can you imagine like if Antonio Huggy Bear Fargus played Blacula? It'd be funny for the first 5 minutes. And
that'd
then
be
you'd
something they
over
would
it.
do modern times, unless like Jordan Peele got a hold of it, because he would probably do it straight like this. But
Well,
fuck.
it reminds me. Have
Uh-oh.
you ever heard of the movie Old Dracula?
No, I don't.
Old Dracula. You could never make this movie now, but they used to play it on the 4 o'clock movie a lot. It came out in the early set. It came out around this time. Okay, so it's David Niven as a star. I know you don't know who David Niven is, but he's a white guy, but his career was like sophisticated gentleman, like kind of like English gentleman was like his role he usually played. He's always got dapper, kind of. Always looked good, had a little mustache.
Okay.
He's Dracula. All right. So the plot is Playboy magazine is going to Castle Dracula to do a photo shoot.
I like it.
So they bring all these playmates.
Okay.
I don't remember this. It's a little foggy. I haven't seen this movie in decades. But okay, so Dracula's wife, for some reason, is like in a coma or something. She needs a blood transfusion.
Okay.
So he gets his Igor Renfield to go get some of the playmates. I think that's why he allowed them to take the photographs in his house, because he was going to get the blood from one of these playmates. There was one black playmate. So this is how ridiculous it is. He takes the blood from the black playmate. They put it in the wife. It revives. That's the one that matched his wife, whatever.
Yeah.
His wife turns black.
Nice.
And thankfully, they actually hired a black actress. They didn't do like blackface.
Okay, good.
So she's a black woman, beautiful black woman. And then, but she's like doing the English accent. She's playing her part.
Okay.
And then hilarity ensues. And then near the end, she goes to see like Superfly or some blaxploitation movie, comes out, all of a sudden is all black, like all jive talking and sassy.
Wow.
And I don't know. And then for some reason, old Dracula needed to take some blood. First of all, the idea that if you take blood from someone who's not the same color as you, you're going to turn their color is ridiculous, even for 1970s.
Right.
So David Niven has to bite her, and he turns black, but it's David Niven in blackface.
Oh, he did half of it right.
And then it ended like right there so they didn't drag it out.
Oh, okay,
but
good.
yeah, but Blacula.
Oh well, the point we were trying to make is that they were gonna call Blacula Andrew or something,
Yeah,
and
it's
instead the actor was like, "Fuck that shit! I'm playing this straight. I'm the Black Christopher Lee. We're doing this authentically.
Right.
I will be Mama Walde."
Right, an African prince, not just some like jive talking street guy.
So fucking good too, and
Right.
you know,
well, it would be awful if he was gonna do it the other way,
right?
Like he has this like regalness about him,
right? And you know why? I forgot to look this up. I was gonna check to make sure Anne Rice casted vampires of color, because I have a feeling that bitch never did.
I think they did in the recent Interview with the Vampire TV show.
Yeah.
But no, I don't believe.
I think she was all about the honkies.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't really see outside of Blacula. How many times do you see a black vampire?
Exactly. You never do.
You know why? Because what's his name? Augustus Twilight or whatever. He kills him. We opened
I
with.
can't remember his name.
It's something
Yes,
Twilight.
Yeah,
Abraham Twilight or something like that.
Yeah, I don't
That's what we opened with from Venture Brothers.
because Venture Brothers is such a great show. Unlike that Velma show that everyone's raging about. Now people are surprised that it's getting more views since there's
'cause
been a
people
whole
have-
backlash about how bad it is.
People
And
have to see
everyone-
how bad it is.
And now everyone's saying, well, it's really not that bad. It's like, what? Welcome to the internet? Hasn't it been around for like 15 years? This is what fucking happens? I don't know. Blacula. Sorry, everybody. Blacula. So, you know when you're working, because Anne Rice style, this is what brought Anne Rice into my brain. Vampires, smooth, sexy. Christopher Lee, they whisper into your ear. Next thing you know, they're dropped.
Right, yeah.
You're down and ready.
That's why all women love vampires.
Exactly. And when you have Mama Walde walking in there with a name like Mama Walde in fucking 70s LA, you know you're going to drop that name with your fucking cape and your beautiful voice. Every woman's going to be stopped in her tracks, drop her man, and be like, where do you live?
Well,
Let's
Griff,
go
there
there.
is a reason that one of the many forms that a vampire can take.
Praying mantis.
Only in Dario Argento's world. No, it's bat, of course. Sometimes wolf, which I think is bullshit. Let the werewolves have the wolf.
Let the werewolves
thing.
be
You can't
the
take
wolves.
everything.
Right.
And fog or mist.
Oh,
Cocksmog, if you will.
oh no. That's...
Bram Stoker. You're all about the smog.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
it's a perfect metaphor for, and he does it well in this movie.
He really does. I mean, he just introduces himself. He walks up to a character and says, "You are the reincarnation of my dead wife."
Right.
Immediately.
Usually that would freak a woman out.
No.
I've done it. It did not work well.
Here's my keys. Here's my address. I want you in my bed after this party.
Here's my panties, Tom Jones style. She just put his panties in his mouth. Ew. What's up with that? It got caught on one of his fangs.
Use them as floss.
It was a G-string, yeah.
So this is a great movie. It's enjoyable. It's 90 minutes.
Fun fucking movie. It just moves quick.
It doesn't fucking wait you around. It talks about people who the police don't see. The cops literally say in this movie, "My hands are tied."
Yes,
literally just spoon feeding us what we've been saying.
We get the fucking great Thalmus Rasulala as Dr. Gordon Robert or something. Thomas.
Yeah, 2 first names.
Did I ever tell you I had a voodoo doctor for my pediatrician?
Wait a minute. What did you just say?
I had a voodoo doctor as my pediatrician as a kid.
Really?
No, I know, but he was a Jamaican guy. Dr. Kingsley Thomas.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. A little known fact about Tim. You'll get a lot more when we do Road Warrior. I'm going to bare my soul to you guys.
Oh, that's going to be interesting.
But back to Blacula. Back in Blacula.
People at this time have already gotten a piece of your soul.
I don't know if
week.
people want to learn any more about me. I think they're frightened now.
After what they heard on Sunday, I'd imagine they are a little frightened about
what did I say? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
About that tippy tap?
Yeah, about that tippy tap. Make sure to listen to that
I lost my mind for a while. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah.
Blacula, yeah, it's just a fun fucking movie. It doesn't here's the thing, it doesn't take itself seriously, but it takes itself seriously.
Right.
If you know what I mean. It's not winky. I mean, like you said, he does the Bloody Mary line, which that's fine because he knew how to say it.
He was also kind of mocking Thomas at that point.
Yeah,
Dr.
there was like a fucking some shit going on between them.
Right. He was feeling the tension in the air, and so he picks up on it, and he's like, "Oh, I see what you're thinking." And so he hits him with the Bloody Mary line because obviously he's being suspected as being a vampire, and he smelled it out.
Right.
It's fucking good. It's good. Good timing in this movie.
Well, let's get into it then. Let's get to that trailer for the Prince of Darkness in a whole different way. Prince Mamuwalde is Blacula.
You shall pay, Black Prince. I curse you with my name. You shall be Blacula.
Blacula, the Black Avenger, rising from his tomb to fill the night with horror. Blacula, Dracula's soul brother, deadlier even than he.
You know, he is a strange dude.
You're the nut that ran in front of my cab. You're the only imbecile on this street. Boy.
Blacula,
Look at man, you found. I mean, he's got to be around here somewhere. I mean, now listen, you wait, you take your hands off of me. I don't know you.
He thirsts for your blood. He hungers for your soul. Warm young bodies will feed his hunger. Hot, fresh blood will quench his awful thirst.
Make it a Bloody Mary. Are you, into the occult?
No!
How about the, heavy stuff?
What do you think of vampires?
Vampires? I think they're possibly the most fascinating of all.
More horrifying than Dracula. The Black Avenger, Blacula. From American International Pictures.
Welcome back. We are in Transylvania. It is the year 1780.
First of all, I don't think it did, but I hope that trailer had that. I don't know the guy's voice. I know Joe Corey knows the guy's voice. He did all the Blaxploitation trailers, and he had a great voice. I hope he did it. I don't think he did. But I'm hoping that. Yeah, we're in Transylvania, Griff. Castle Dracula, 1780.
1780.
Right after we declared independence, 4 years later.
Right after Abigail died, 1777.
Yeah.
7th day of July.
Pushing her down the stairs to die. No, she cried. So, I got to say something, Griff. I was really disappointed in Count Dracula. I never thought he was a racist. I knew he was a lot of things. I knew he was a monster, a blood-sucking creature of the night.
Yeah, I know. I just thought he was all about that kind of lifestyle. I didn't think he saw color, but clearly
he drains people of color.
I thought he did. I didn't see any people of color. But then again, it's Transylvania.
Yeah.
I don't think they had many people of color.
No. How did you like Dracula? He had like a white, Kenny Rogers kind of looking.
I kind of liked him.
Really?
When you're going to go for a racist Count Dracula, yeah, I thought he fit the bill.
I believe, according to the book Dracula, he has a mustache, so it was kind of it fit. But he had like a goatee in this one.
Yeah, did he have like the Colonel Sanders goatee?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. They're trying to say the South is fucking racist.
Well, it is.
So I think that's why what he was trying to represent.
Well, we're at Castle Dracula. We have Prince Mamuwalde and his lovely wife, Luva, from, of course, the country Wakanda. And he's asking for help from Count Dracula. Even though they have vibranium and they're the most advanced country in the world, they still are having trouble with fucking slavers.
Yep.
So where do you go? You go to fucking Romania. That's where all the power resided in Europe in 1780.
Well, apparently Count Dracula is a big cog in the slave trade wheel.
Apparently.
And
I thought it was the Dutch, but
yeah, I thought it was the Dutch as well. Yeah. They missed the mark a little bit there. So
funny enough, Van Helsing, who killed Dracula, he must have been Dutch. His name is Van Helsing.
Interesting.
So yeah, Dracula, he's hearing him out.
Right.
He's like, you know what? He's like, Mama, I was like, I need your help. We need to end this vile slavery. We want to open Wakanda up to the world so we can share our technology. And you got to stop race. You got to stop fucking slavery. All I'm asking, stop slavery.
That's it. That's all I'm asking you to do. Stop slavery.
They are going to have fucking iPads if they just listen to fucking Prince Mamuwalde.
Yeah, they'd show him a TikTok. And he's not even convinced by that.
But slavery is so ingrained in their culture. They're like, no. I'm not going to do that.
People need slaves. Slaves need slavers. Like, they won't know what to do without slavers. So, no, we can't get rid of them. What are you talking about?
And as a matter of fact, I like your lady right there. I'll buy her off of you. Of course, that totally insults fucking Mamuwalde. He's like, what? You're going to buy my wife off of me? You, sir, are an animal.
You're classless. I see all the fancy chandeliers in your house, but sir, you have no class.
And then he goes, funny you call me an animal since you're from the jungle.
Ooh. You can't fucking say that kind of shit. He's the Prince of Wakanda.
Exactly. He was the original he's the first Black Panther.
Goddamn right.
And we'll learn that they probably were behind all the killings later on.
Right. Blame Antifa.
So, Mamuwalde, I'm just going to call him Blacula. I'm sorry. It's just too many syllables.
Mamu.
Call
him Mamu.
Mamu ain't having it. He's like, good day, sir. Like, I'm out of here. I'm not going to have you insult me and my wife.
Right.
And then Dracula calls his goons in.
Like a peasant, or not a peasant, but just like a flamboyant bitch. He snaps his fingers. Oh, boys, come here. Couple of boys come out. They're holding down Mamu. They're fighting him. He's fighting back a little bit.
He's kicking their ass first, but then the third goon comes.
Third goon. They get the table set up.
3 goons are too much.
They fucking powerbomb him through the table. And then the Count comes back with his fleet of green-faced bitches.
His vampire brides.
Oh, that's what that was?
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know he was into that kind of thing. I didn't know Dracula was a Mormon.
Yeah, even in the book, he's got his vampire bitches. They try to suck Keanu Reeves.
He needs to get out of Transylvania and go to Utah.
Maybe he's there. I don't know.
He might be there now.
Is there a lot of sun? I mean, Alaska is where he should go. There's not a lot of sun there.
Oh, well, I just mean for Mormons.
He's a count. He can do whatever he wants. He runs Transylvania.
Yeah, that's a good point. And the slave trade.
So they place Mamu into a coffin.
Yeah.
And he's bitten by Dracula.
Count Dracula.
And Luva's forced to watch this. And he's like, I will curse you with eternal hunger, Prince Mamuwalde. I will lock you in this coffin for eternity, and all you know is hunger for blood. And to top it all off, I shall give you my name, Mamuwalde. From now on, you shall be Blacula. And thankfully, that's the last we ever hear the name Blacula.
Never again do we hear the name Blacula.
Well, it's an insult. Like, you can call me Blacula.
Right, exactly. He literally was turned into a slave for blood and given the slave name, the blood slave name, Blacula. So, no, we shouldn't be fucking going by that. That's why we got to call him Mamu, because we're in with Mamu.
Right, we're on his side.
Exactly.
We ride with Mamu.
So, he's got, of course... when you're a count and you got a giant castle, you have a bunch of hidden rooms and shit.
Yeah.
You hide turkeys in walls, Castlevania style.
I was expecting worse from Dracula, because you think what he would have done is, I'm going to seal you in this room, because he seals his wife in with him.
Yeah.
Does not change his wife to a vampire. You think he would not lock him up, he would leave him open, so he would have to feed on his wife.
I thought that's what he was going to do too. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that he sealed him in.
Yeah.
The other thing that would have been pretty fucking hard of him to do is like maybe put him on like a slave boat with a bunch of slaves, and then he gets released, and he might feast on all the slaves or something.
But as we learned from this movie, once there's one vampire, then there's 2, then there's 4, then there's 8.
The growth is exponential.
So we can't have. Then history would be changed, Griff. America would be a vampire country.
Correct.
So we couldn't do that.
That's right.
So, cut to 200 years later, 1972. We're at Castle Dracula. We see a very ahead of its time, but yet far in the past, stereotypical times, an interracial gay antique dealer couple, Billy and Bobby.
They must be making some sweet flip if they're able to fly over to Transylvania.
That's where all the good shit is, Griff. Everyone's gone through the thrift stores already.
Oh, hell yeah,
They know where to go. You go. I've heard people go, you ever try Transylvania? You get some good fucking shit. You get the best vinyl.
Yeah,
I got an original fucking Black Flag fucking 7-inch of fucking TV party.
You got original 12-inch Superfly record.
Yeah, I found it for $5.
It's just trying to tip you off that we're gonna have. It was a good omen for our great Blaxploitation.
That's what God was. God was blessing us because He knows all we do is good.
God, I think Mamuwalde himself put that record there for you.
Yeah.
He gave you that.
I think
record.
the spirit of Curtis Mayfield did.
Or that.
And so this gay couple, Billy and Bobby. Billy is the white guy, Bobby is the black guy. And they're at Castle Dracula. They're having like a fucking estate sale or something.
I didn't understand what, but it was.
At first I thought they were buying the castle, but I think they're just buying the shit in the castle.
I believe it was more of an estate sale type situation because they're just buying everything in the building. Of course, they got to haggle over it.
Of course, you're a great antique dealer. That's what you do. And
they've got like hand signals to each other. So behind the dealer's back, they're like signaling like, we're going to go down with this price. We're going to cut them off here. And so, they work out a deal. They get the contract out. The
dealer first, he's like, I must tell you, this was the home of Count Dracula. And they're like, That makes it better, baby. People love this kitschy shit.
It's going to make it sell even faster.
Wouldn't you want to own a fucking candelabra from fucking Castle Dracula?
I mean, we're about to learn from Billy himself. He's like, I can't wait to get this coffin home and turn it into a twin bed for our guests.
Right. It's so kitsch.
It's so kitsch. John
and
Waters.
So they're like, we want it more, motherfucker. And he's just like, all right, So then they sign it. But he's like,
in the excitement of signing it, he's like, man, this castle is amazing. There's not like hidden passages and stuff, is there?
He's like, well, we did have some remodeling. They did find a mummified corpse of some woman. We don't know.
There's a lot of hidden passages, and yes, we did find,
you know, see one?
Some skeletons in the wall,
in the closet, and the wall. And so he's like, let me show you. And he does the thing, returns the sconce on the wall. It's good.
Classic.
Very Velma.
Very Velma.
Opens up, and we see this casket. And they're like, holy shit, I've been looking for a bed for... Danzig's been asking me, do I have a bed?
I've been saying I have a couple of coffins, but they have no corpses in them. I know you like them with the corpse fresh in there.
Yeah, it's amazing they just left this coffin. They took the body out, apparently, because Luva's body's gone.
Luva's body's gone, yeah.
But they left the casket. They didn't even open it.
I mean, if you're trying to sell the estate and someone asks about hidden passages, you want to show them the hidden passages, so you would clean up the skeletons. Okay. So it makes sense to me.
But you wouldn't open the casket?
No.
Okay.
Well, there's a lock on it.
I know, just open it. Well, they have no trouble opening it when they get it home.
Right, but they have the power of thrifting on their side.
Cut to present day, meaning 1972, L.A.
Yep. And they've taken all the stuff into their special warehouse because these two, they're wheeling and dealing. They're a power thrift couple.
Right. And Billy's like you said, Bobby is like...
No, it's Billy. Billy the white one. Yeah.
He's like, we're going to use this as a bed. Let me open it up first. Let's see how comfortable it is. We might need to put some a My Pillow in there or something.
and then what? Yeah, Billy ends up using a pry bar or something. He ends up cutting up his arm.
Right.
Because he's a fumblefoot.
Right. He's like, oh, I'm bleeding, but it does open the casket.
Right.
So while they're going, he's tending to his man. Dabbing the blood, putting a bandage on it. It opens up, and it's fucking Prince Mamuwalde.
Does the Undertaker hinge and everything.
He does, and he gets up out of there. How did you feel about when he becomes a vampire? He gets mutton chop sideburns, a big widow's peak, and big bushy eyebrows.
Yeah, his peak is intense because he's got the widow's peak, and then his temple hair attaches to his eyebrows.
Yeah,
and then he had that I loved it. I thought it looked cool as shit. And when you look at our friend in Venture Brothers, he almost kind of has that facial hair.
Yep, he's got bald spot.
He does. Yeah, no, it doesn't mean he doesn't have the widow's peak, but his mustache kind of has that weird cheeky pattern that Mama Walde has here.
So he hasn't fucking had blood in 200 years. He's never had blood. He's a blood virgin.
Yeah, he's a blood virgin. So he's
like a beast.
He just intuits how to do this. He's hungry.
Well, he doesn't. Yeah, it's just like it's pure instinct. He's a creature.
Yeah.
And he just attacks Billy and starts sucking the blood from his wound on his arm.
Yeah, sucks him all dry.
Sucks him off. And then Bobby's just doing the cliche, stereotypical gay guy stuff. Oh, my God. And what am I going to do? And Mamuwalde attacks him.
Yep, bites into his neck and just lets him, fall over. And then... he looks through all the stuff, happens to find a cape there.
That was nice of Count Dracula. He's leave him a cape.
He knows that all vampires need a cape.
Right.
So, of course, he left him a cape. And then he hears Count Dracula's words repeating through his head.
Right. I will call you Blacula. You notice, because you know how obsessed we are with days, and this is very vague on what the timeline of this movie is. Did it happen in the course of a week? Did it happen in the course of a month?
Yeah, it feels like this all happens over 5 days.
But I don't think it did.
It's hard to tell. It is. Because sometimes it feels like a month has passed. Sometimes it feels like an hour has passed.
Bobby is in a coffin at a funeral parlor.
Yep.
And this is where our good guys show up. Thelmus Rasulallah's character, Gordon Thomas. Dr. Gordon Thomas.
Respect on that name.
What was his role? Because it seemed like he was like, I'm a cop as well. Like he wasn't a medical examiner, was he?
I just love this because
was he freelance?
We always have.
Was he Quincy?
Wait, it actually works. I think he was Quincy.
He was Black Quincy.
Yeah, he was Black Quincy. Because we always have these characters who just blend lines and everything. They're like a private detective, but also they have hands with the morgue. They have hands with the police. They just go wherever they want. Everyone respects them so much. So that's what Dr. Gordon here is playing, Dr. Thomas.
Yeah.
He's playing that role, and I thought he was fucking awesome in it.
Yeah, Thomas Rasula is always great. He's been in some of our other movies.
Oh, cool.
He was the
looked
richest
familiar.
black man in the world in Friday Foster. He
Yes.
banged Pam Grier.
Yes. And then we also have Michelle.
Michelle, his girlfriend.
And
her sister.
Nina.
Tina.
Tina. Excuse me. Tina.
Who looks remarkably like Luva.
Ooh, interesting.
Because, of course, this is the theme of all vampire movies. They find a woman. They stumble on a woman who looks exactly like their lost love.
Yeah, old trope, but hey, it's okay. You're doing.
Why is fucking Blacula at the funeral parlor? Did he feel guilt about draining Bobby?
No, I think he is trying to figure out, like, the Count told me these things. I saw the ghouls. And did I turn this person into ghoul? Do I have that ability? I thought that's what it was. He was curious. And he's got nothing but time on his hands. He's fucking 200 plus years old. One of the other things that I wanted to point out here. What was the other thing I wanted to point out here? I don't remember what it was.
I don't either.
Oh, I wanted to ask you this question. Does Count Dracula's wife or vampire wives, do they always get white streaks in their hair?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's just make it scary. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So, yeah, he's watching, and he sees Luva. And Dr. Thomas Gordon, he's just like, because this is highly irregular, people. And Swenson, who's the Undertaker, points out the family didn't want me to embalm the body.
Yeah.
So he's totally fresh.
Fresh. This is a fresh corpse.
I don't think you can do that. And Gordon's like, let me examine this body. Why? Why did he want to examine the body?
He's got it in with the morgue. He touches all kinds of bodies all the time. So he wanted to get in there.
Because he's like, I think he heard there's some strange way he died. Let me examine this body. He's like, I heard there were bite marks on the neck.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, man, there was like a 3-inch gouge in the neck. There was just 2 spots on his neck. But he's like, I did my best to cover it up. And he's like, these veins are collapsed. This body's been drained of blood.
Didn't you say they did not embalm it? I mean, it's devoid of blood.
Look at it. And he's just like, hey, man, I just work here. I don't know.
There is a line as Dr. Gordon leaves that we cannot mention.
It's like, we can get around it. He's just like, what do you say? He's like, that's one rude African American.
That's it.
And he was. I don't know. I liked Gordon. He was kind of like, he commanded the room when he walked in. That's why there was so much like fucking tension between him and Mama Walden.
Gordon was such an amazing character.
He always had that little like long cigars he was always smoking.
Yeah. He's such a good character, especially for this community and this world, because he has so much respect. He is around everybody. He can talk to the police. He can talk to the fucking morgue. He just moves around.
Right. So Tina decides she's going to walk home. I guess the funeral home's close to her apartment.
Tina and Michelle. But they, of course, are going to part ways because, she lives on the other side of town.
Right, Michelle's like going to go to Gordon's place.
Oh, hell yeah, she is.
And Blacula chases after her. He senses a presence. He starts running.
Yeah.
And
does he do I missed this when I was doing my notes, but does he actually do the Michael Myers thing and suddenly appear in front of her and stop her and say, you are Luva? Because I know he mentioned something to her about how she's Luva.
Yeah, well, he was like, Luva. He didn't say, you are Luva. He's like, Luva. It has to be here. He has no idea that 200 years has gone by.
Right.
So she's like, I don't know who the fuck Luva is. I'm getting the fuck out of here. You need a loofah, motherfucker.
She ends up dropping all of her belongings.
Well, there's like a tunnel that goes underneath the street. Yeah. First I thought they were going to a subway, but it's just a tunnel that goes underneath the street.
Yeah.
And
just like in Detroit with our sewer system. There's always, this is L.A. I mean, that's where they put the Hyperloop. Elon Musk's great $1 million invention.
That went like 100 feet.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about how much of a failure it was.
So, well, isn't everything
He
does a failure?
He might own YouTube soon, so we got to be careful about shitting on him.
Oh, he didn't learn his lesson from fucking Twitter?
No, he never learns his lesson. He's a billionaire.
And by the way, everybody came back to Twitter that said they were leaving. You're all full of shit. You're hypocrites. Go fuck yourself. So, yeah, she drops her purse, and then she takes off. He picks it up.
And tries chasing back after her, gets hit by a cab.
Right.
LA's known for this was probably a self-driving cab.
It was a gypsy cab.
Yeah.
And this woman gets out, hey, sucker, what the fuck's wrong with you?
At first, Mamu, he's being all polite and everything. I am sorry.
Well, this is the first time he's seen a car, probably.
Hell yeah. Like, the shock isn't really even hitting him. He's just
this
like
horseless carriage you're in. What is this?
He's just
he rolls with it. He just like adapts because he's just like not fazed by anything. He's not even in this fucking continent.
Right.
He's aware he's at, but he's just like, woman, how dare you? Because she's just like, I could have killed you, you stupid motherfucker.
Right. And he's just like trying to calmly explain to her, I just lost this woman, Luva. Do you know Luva? Where does she live? And, of course, the cabbie doesn't know anything about it. Oh,
you think we all know each other because we're black?
Yeah, that's right.
And then he's like, well, you drive. Like, how does he know that's the word you use?
I don't even know. Well,
drive.
Like you said, he's seen people drive horse and carriages.
You drive like an imbecile.
Who the fuck are you calling an imbecile, you horned motherfucker with your crazy eyebrows?
Yeah, that sets him off. He turns Blacula-ish, and he just bites into her.
Yeah.
Drains that woman dry.
I appreciate that, unlike one of our villains from our Steven Seagal movie we recently did, he doesn't have to pretend to have a crying baby and bash her over the head with it. He just goes straight to the neck.
Is he a villain, though, or is he a tragic hero?
This is a good point.
I don't like that. I don't like when they do it now, especially. To me, Dracula is a monster, and he should be killed. Now they try to make Dracula sympathetic all the time now.
Like, do they?
Yeah, because it's like it's that goth chick or Anne Rice bullshit.
Yes, the Anne Rice bullshit.
Where it's like
his black
lost
vampires
love,
don't exist.
His lost love.
Yeah.
I don't like it. Vampires are monsters.
They really are. They're called the universal
They're
monsters.
Sucking creatures of the night.
Yeah, sure, we played a part in probably making them, but still, it's like, fuck that. No, they're monsters.
So he heads home to his warehouse where his coffin is with her purse. She had panties in there and he was sniffing them. I don't know, what's up with this panty thing? The director had a panty fetish. And so, all right, so now we go to Gordon.
He's got to go to the morgue because, of course, they got the cabbie's body.
Yeah, he's like a traveling ME. Like, what the fuck is his job?
Well, Murray, before the internet, people were tied into their community. And so he got picked up on his doctor radio like, oh, shit, someone just died abruptly, you know?
We meet Sam, old guy, hook hand for no reason. This guy, I know this guy. He doesn't have a hook hand in real life.
No, I loved it.
They just gave him a hook hand.
What a detail. Why not? Why not give him a hook?
Why didn't they let him use it, like hook somebody?
Did he bring the hook, or did the director say, you know what?
You could use a hook.
You could use a hook. You're not sympathetic enough for kind of like a racist white guy?
No, he wasn't. He wasn't racist. He was misogynistic, because we'll learn later.
Yeah, you're right.
Because like Gordon's there to examine the body, because I guess maybe it's a racial thing. Like, we don't want to touch black bodies. Like, we need our black coroner to do the black bodies. Maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe. That's why they call him in. But yeah, he's there to examine Juanita Jones, who was the cabbie.
Oh yes, okay.
And he finds similar bite marks to fucking Bobby.
Right.
And he's like, hey man, I gotta go talk to Lieutenant Peters about this shit. And he's like, so he goes to Jack Peters. I don't know about what it is about this guy. Something I kind of like about this one white guy. I don't know. Maybe later on, something will happen. I don't know.
Yeah, really. Like, the first scene you get with him, I was like, oh, god damn it, fucking, he's a lieutenant? Was he a lieutenant or a detective?
Sure, he was a lieutenant. Well, lieutenants can be detectives.
Okay. But anyways, he can move some papers around. He's higher up. He's not just a street cop or anything. And so,
you can see they have a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they know each other.
Yeah, Dr. Thomas and Peters talk all the time. And so he's going straight to him, and he's asking him about the gay couple that went missing.
Right. He's like, I need the files on it because I know Bobby, and there's a connection to this dead cabbie, the bite marks.
Yeah.
Do you have any of their paperwork? Did they have an autopsy?
Right. Of course, they have all the paperwork on Bobby, the gay white guy.
Billy was the one.
Oh, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Billy, the gay white guy. And then he's like, so let me get the papers on Bobby. Well, those are missing. Oh, so when it's a black victim who happens to be gay, their shit goes missing.
I don't know if he cared that much because Gordon dropped some F-bombs about gay people,
Gordon
too.
did drop some F-bombs here, yes.
So,
sorry, guys, 70s.
And, like, Jack's like, you know what? I think the Black Panthers are behind it. Doesn't that track?
That tracks so well today where anything happens, they're like, you know what? I think it was actually Antifa in disguise. It's like, no, they're carrying the signs. They're telling you exactly what they were doing.
And Gordon gives him a side eye. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I want Bobby's body. He hasn't been buried yet. I want to do an autopsy on his body. You get the paperwork for it. I gotta go with the club. All right.
Yes. Get the police records. I will be at the club.
It's my girl's birthday.
Of course, you got to be at the club. And I'm gonna spoil it. We're gonna learn later that Peters is friendly even with Michelle, his girlfriend.
Right. And so he goes to the club. This is an interesting scene because obviously they were trying to promote this band.
Yes.
I don't remember their name, but they did have a hit. Their hit song was "Don't Rock the Boat." Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Don't tip the boat over.
Yeah.
So, did you notice? You never see this in a movie. Mostly when you go to a club, the music dies out, and then you hear the actor speaking. There are scenes where the music goes loud and the dialogue goes away, where we're actually watching actors mime to each other, so you can hear this fucking song they're obviously trying to push on us.
You remember the last movie that did this? We've already talked about it.
What was it?
Superfly.
They did?
Yeah, they went to a club scene and they played Superfly. A live band played Superfly for like a minute and a half.
But we couldn't even hear what the actors were saying because there's actors doing a scene and we can't hear what they're saying.
We were getting establishing shots of the bar that they were in or the club that they were in while the band was playing Superfly.
Can we just say, why can't we bring back theme songs? Like,
First
of all these movies we do have great theme songs.
We say this every Blaxploitation month. All these fucking movies come up with great fucking theme songs. I think Bond's the only one who does it.
You're
now.
right. I think so. Yeah. And also, Bond, and I'm glad you brought up Bond because we had a great animated opening scene, which you never see anymore either. It was like
that's right.
It was like caverns, and there was this drop of blood, and this bat was trying to chase the blood, and the blood turned into a woman.
Yeah,
and then the bat turned into Blacula, and it was really cool.
That was really cool.
And they do kind of that shit with Bond, and it's like they need the naked girls flying around and shit.
Right.
We need more of that shit. Bring that back.
When are we gonna get a gay Bond?
I'm sure that's gonna be the next one. All right,
because
got to get a black Bond first, then a female Bond, then we get a gay Bond.
A female Bond will be first. Then a black male Bond, and then a gay Bond.
And then a wheelchair Bond.
We already had one of those. Mr. No Legs.
he was a piece of shit.
He was evil, yeah.
But, okay, so they're at the club, hanging out. It's Michelle's birthday. The club is rocking. Mama Walde. Apparently, in Tina's her license, it said, I hang out at this club. That's my, I'm at this club so much, that's basically my address. So her address was the club. He shows up, and he just does he point to her and say come? He
scribbles out a note and hands it to the.
It's the photograph girl.
Oh, it was the photograph girl. Okay, and he hands it to her, and she walks it over, hands it to Tina, who walks back over to the door and is
all
confronted
of a sudden,
by Mom.
Cocksmog just envelops her, draws her in. If they had the fucking budget for animation, you'd see a Cocksmog hand point to her and then come to me.
Oh yeah, no, there'd be conversations about what the hand gestures were doing, what they were trying to manipulate. Were they getting into her cerebral cortex?
So remember, she was this is Cocksmog. This is definitely Cocksmog because she was terrified of him the night before, and now she's immediately like.
I mean, I get it. That was not the most welcoming environment. You're walking home.
Someone grabs you and says, "You're my wife."
Exactly. That's a little terrifying. But now they're in a friendly environment she's comfortable in, and she's got this beautiful.
So comfortable. That's what she puts on her license. The club.
Exactly. Exactly. Meet me at the club tonight. If you find purse, return to this club. And so now she's in her home turf. So of course she's gonna be warmer to this idea. And now that she's got good light on him.
She's out. He's such a fucking pimp ass motherfucker.
And he wears a fucking cape.
And he pulls it off.
And he pulls it off.
I mean, he's an elegant gentleman. All right, sophisticated gentleman.
So she immediately is like, "Well, you can't leave. Why don't you come to the party with us?"
Right.
And they got a tiny table for 4 already set up with 1 seat missing.
Right.
And Mamuwalde is going to occupy that seat.
He's like, "Could you get me some champagne, please?"
There's a whole controversy over the champagne because Gordon was like, no.
Right.
Champagne.
This is a fucking alpha dog fight. We're seeing right in front of our eyes.
Right. Champagne's a little too pricey. And Mamu sits down. No, champagne is just the right price for a girl's birthday.
And they're, ooh, all the girls are melting
swoon,
now.
of course, because he says it in a non-Griff voice.
Right. He says it in a very
I've
masculine.
never gotten a girl to drink champagne with that voice. Never.
You ain't got a guy to drink. I just spat out some champagne when he said that. Yes, I drink champagne while we record because it's good for my voice. So, yeah, and then,
he does a whole toast after the champagne comes. He pours a little glass for everybody. Let me toast to life. Because he's, a vampire.
The panties are just coming off right now.
You hear spandex expanding and just snapping everywhere.
No, I'm saying when you're talking, the panties are going up.
Oh, excuse me. I didn't realize
Two panties are going on. Extra pair. Some big old granny drawers are like getting pulled over there. My dear, you remind me of my wife. And then she's smitten. She's like, ooh, wow.
Right in front of everybody, he says this line. And nobody's like, okay, time to go.
Okay, so apparently everybody knows Gordon and the crew hang out at this club. It's like Cheers.
It was Michelle's birthday. Everyone's showing up for the party.
Well, no, I'm just saying because Swenson has to get some info, the Undertaker, to Gordon. So he calls the club.
Oh, yeah.
And he's just like, Bobby's body's missing. I know you wanted to get his body for an autopsy. I went to get it. It's missing.
And so Gordon's like, fuck. What? How did that shit end up missing? We're going to have to put out some kind of record about a dead black gay man who's gone missing. But he's going to return to the party. It's Michelle's night after all. He'll worry about it in the morning. And as he returns, Skillet's arriving.
The life of the party, Skillet. I got to believe, like, this guy's not an actor. He probably owned the club. He's like, if you want to use my club, you got to give me a part. And that happened in Superfly too.
Yep.
I believe that's what happened.
I'm fine with this because I thought Skillet worked out really well in this movie.
Right. He immediately helps himself some of that champagne.
Yeah, he's just, champagne, pours himself. It's a party after all. Come on.
And then it's their birthday, so the camera girl's taking all the snapshots of the party.
Right, and immediately, like, you see Mamu, like, wince away from it, put his hand up. Now, he doesn't quite go for the cape.
No, he doesn't, no, because that's what a bad actor would do.
Yes, exactly.
But this guy's, like, trained Shakespearean actor.
Subtle.
Right.
Somebody, maybe Billy Drago, was trying to give him a little hand direction there.
And he's like, I must go. And he leaves.
We haven't done a Billy Drago movie. I'm sorry, it's Blaxploitation month. We haven't done a Billy Drago in forever. We got to fix that.
And then as he walks away, Skillet goes, that is one strange dude.
He yells to him, hey, man, let me get your cape. It was so good. I love Skillet.
Tina runs after him. She's lost in the smog.
I would say run is a strong word here. What happens is like in the Pepe Le Pew cartoons where he leaves the fog behind, or rather Pepe gets caught in the fog. She is floating on his fog, his smog dog. Smoggy doggy.
She's smog dogging.
She's got the smog hog.
She's smog dogging.
She's high on the smog hog.
But we can't hear what they're saying because that fucking song is playing.
You're my superfly. Oh, wait, the wrong song.
I don't know what their song was. And they agree that they'll meet up again later on.
Right. She's just like, that thing you said about me being your wife. I don't know what that means, but I want to fuck you.
Well, yeah. And so then they part. She goes back to the party.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Nancy, the photographer girl, she's just like, well, I'm gonna head home and develop these pictures. This is actually what they would do in like Nightclub. They didn't bring it back. Where they would, well, I guess you don't have to get phones now, but back in the day, you'd have like a girl who would take photographs, and then you'd give them like $5, and then they would you'd come back and get your photos.
It's a nice little market you had there.
And she's just like, my house is down the road. I'll go develop these pictures, have them ready for you.
And the house is even better than down the road. It's on the other side of the parking lot.
Well, that's a perfect place if you're going to work there.
Yeah, really. That's a nice. The only problem I could see with that is if you're walking home and one of the creeps sees you walk home and tries.
Yeah, because she's wearing like this sexy like leopard print outfit.
Yeah, it's something that you would see in like a Playboy magazine or something like the bunny's
It
wearing.
is. It's a Playboy bunny outfit, but it's leopard print. Because obviously, Playboy would sue your ass if you did.
Yeah.
So she goes home. She's just a working girl. So she her dark room is just her kitchen, and she just got a little curtain. She curtains off
What
the
a
room.
beautiful fucking little house for a single woman just kind of living on her own. Can't have anything like that anymore.
She's developing the pictures, and she notices. She's like,
she thinks she hears her door open.
Yeah.
70s. What a great time to live where you don't have to lock your door, even though you live next to a rowdy bar.
Yeah. And she looks down at the picture of Tina with Mama Walde. But is she with Mama Walde? She's just holding air. She can't even see the fog. And we know that fucking vampires cannot be photographed or be seen in a mirror.
That's right.
I don't know how Mama Walde knew that because cameras weren't developed when he was alive.
Mamu...
he just sensed.
Yeah, no, he has an ability to...
He adapts.
Huh?
He adapts.
He adapts, exactly. Like you said with the cabs. He immediately knew what cars were. He was not surprised. This is not like...
I take it back, because in Wakanda, they had cars and cameras in
Wakanda has
1780.
cars. You were talking about their iPads and shit. So, of course, he knew.
Right, yeah, stupid me.
Stupid you. It's
And
okay.
you didn't need to do that. And so... Just as she's like, what the? She opens the curtain, and we see him in all his fucking mutton chop glory.
Yeah.
Jump on her and bite her.
All right. So now...
And he also crumbles up that photograph. Just to let you know, he knows.
I thought he left the photograph.
No, he crumbled it up.
Because someone finds one.
No, I find a negative.
A negative. Okay, thank you. Anyways, so the cop who is tasked with bringing all the papers over to the club.
He's like Fonzie. He's like, my office is this club I hang out.
He really is. I wonder if he went in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is Officer Barnes. Now, here's my one problem with Blacula. The time it takes to turn people.
Yes.
This is my only problem.
Because Bobby has been dead for days and hasn't turned yet.
We saw Bobby's hand lift up when
was a
everybody
reflex.
was there.
Yeah.
And, of course, Swenson just was like, oh, no. That's just rigor mortis kicking in or whatever. I see this all the time.
Right.
And so it took him over a day before he got out of the coffin and left.
Yeah.
It's
like the Walking Dead zombies.
Convenience.
Like sometimes, it's just like you die and you're instantly a zombie, and sometimes it's like an hour later.
Right. Maybe it's got something to do with weight, but I mean, come on. Bobby was a thin man too. Like Nancy was probably big, like had more weight on her than Bobby did. So I really don't know what the excuse is for this.
Because we needed a scene.
Blacula, we got some explain. I'm kidding. But no, Nancy pops right the fuck back up. She's been watching.
Well, she stumbles out, and she's like, "Oh, we're like, maybe he just half drained her."
That's true. She stumbles out.
The cop, of course, assumes she's drunk.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Ma'am, you notice that? It's very white cop thing. Do you live here? Is this your residence?"
Barnes' first questions are, Do you live here? Did you break and enter into this place? Do I see photos? Did you break, enter, put photos of you in this place to make me assume it's your place? You might have to show me your underwear drawer in order to convince me.
That's a nice. I think the director, he had a panty fetish, because that seems to be a theme in this movie.
He definitely has underwear on the brain.
Yeah. And so he grabs you, because he's like, "Are you drunk?" And she stumbles into his arms, and then, like you said, immediately she's a vampire, and she just bites Barnes.
Mm-hmm. Next morning, Gordon's checking in with Peters, of course, police officer Peters, lieutenant, detective, who knows. And he's like, what the fuck was my report? I asked you to send Barnes, or send the report to me. He's like, I sent Barnes over to you last night. What are you talking about? Where the fuck's Barnes? Barnes hasn't even showed up to work today. What the fuck's going on with Barnes?
And then he's like, did you hear, Jack? Bobby's body went missing. Who would want a homosexual person's body? He did not say homosexual person.
F-slurs everywhere. Yeah. So Gordon, of course, is going to kindly request the rights to exhume.
I thought he demanded it. He commands every room he walks into.
Yeah. I don't even think he was in the same room with them at this point. He has actually gone back to his little lab. Again, I don't even know what Dr. Gordon Thomas really does, but
he's examining shit on a microscope is what he does.
He's just getting shit done all the time.
Well, he just says, he's like, I want Billy's body exhumed.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay. So he goes back to the lab.
Yeah.
Waiting for that call. Because remember, this is the 70s. We didn't have Wakandan cell phones. So you got to go where your landline is.
This is true.
And he gets the call, and it's like, Jack's like, sorry, no go. Black doctor cannot touch a white body. You know the deal. And he literally says, my hands are tied. And he does the fucking signal. He crosses their fucking hands.
That's right. We got to cut over to Peter just so we could see him doing the hands are tied.
It's like whenever they do like in the news now, whenever they do a story about drugs, pharmacy drugs going up or down, we have to have them outside of fucking CVS now because we can't put our brain. What are they talking about? Oh yeah, drugstore. I get it. So Michelle works for Gordon.
Yeah, it seems like she does work for him.
And because Gordon's like, fuck this shit. I'm just going to dig the body up.
We're going to dig that body up. We're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
And she's like, I'm not digging a fucking body up. What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, I'm Gordon fucking Thomas. I do whatever I want.
Dr. Gordon Thomas. And he's saying this to her as he's standing over her, a fucking mountain of a man. The man she
Mountain of a mustache.
Mountain of a mustache, too. The man she happens to be infatuated with. And so...
she hopes to be Mrs. Dr. Gordon Thomas.
Yeah, 100%. And so he starts coming at... And it turns out... Murray, maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Because they're fucking dating and everything after all. They're going to get married someday. But he has the power of smog over her, too. Because he starts coming in with, my name is Dr. Thomas Golden. And we're going to exhume this body.
I love how you always go to some old plantation owner kind of voice.
I can't do voices. I can't do voices.
My name is Doctor.
Point is, he just starts talking to her in that you're going to get fucked voice. Yeah. And she is just swooning over it. She is right in the smog, too. Because then he says, we're exhuming that body. We're digging it up. And she's like, yes, Daddy.
Well, yeah.
I don't like that I just said that. But go on.
I liked it. and so, it's two alpha dogs, dude. I mean, he feels kind of threatened. For the first time in Gordon's life, he feels threatened by Mama Walde. He's like, I've never met a man whose smog is more potent than mine.
This is true. Oh my God, we've never talked about the power of a fucking fog versus smog, or a fog or a smog. We've never.
No, yeah.
So shit. I wish we knew that this.
It rarely happens.
I wish we knew this was going to be a story in this episode, so we could have led with it because this is big. We got smog on smog action. Fucking vampire smog. Anne Rice doesn't even know how to write this kind of shit.
No, she doesn't at all.
Anne Rice. Master of vampires.
Anyway, Michelle's like, I got this shovel, Daddy. So they're heading over to the old cemetery. Tina, she's ready for her first official date with Mama Walde. He comes over to her place.
She a little nervous, of course, because, come on, Mamu. She's like, am I good enough?
And I got to give it up to him. He lays it all out for her. He's not keeping any secrets.
Right. He doesn't. He knows he's already got her fucking just melting in the palm of his hand like a great M&M. Never mind, we can't talk about M&Ms anymore.
No, well, nobody's going to talk about them. They've been moved.
They're gone.
Written out. I'm sorry. I actually had to break it to Paul because we know our buddy Paul London. He demands that we pay him.
Yes.
in green and brown, the female M&Ms.
Yeah.
And crystal goblet. I don't know why it's got to be crystal. But you notice how he always checks? Like, he does that thing where he rubs his finger across.
He
and
does.
Like,
It's got to make the noise,
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I talked to him. I said, I'm sorry. I said, we're still going to get him for you. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
Is he into the purple ones?
I don't think he's tried them yet, but I think he would be.
I think
he
he
said
would be.
he demands. He says, "Don't you give me this because he's heterosexual doesn't mean anything." All right, Paul is fine with gay people, but he does not. He's heterosexual. He likes female snacks. That's all.
Stupidest thing I've heard ever, and I love it. So heterosexual.
Yes.
He doesn't care about kinky stilettos, kinky boots. They're all kink to him once they're melting in his mouth.
Right.
So I think he'd like the purple ones.
I think you would too.
Yeah.
I'll throw some in the goblet.
Yeah,
We'll see what
for
happens.
real. I mean, they're going to be hard to come by, so we're starting up our own eBay store of only female M&Ms.
Yes, Tucker Carlson will be doing advertising for us.
That's true.
That's his big fucking thing.
Did you want an M&M? Do you need an M&M? A feme M&M. I've got one for you.
So Mom was like, let me tell you, you are, of course you're my wife. You have to be. You look exactly like it. Trust me. And she's just like, well, that sounds like it's true. Let me tell you, yes, I am a vampire. Count Dracula changed me, but I will do my best not to drink your blood because you are my love. And then he's like, goes in for the kiss. And then he's like a gentleman. He's just like, no, we can't do this.
You're clearly not ready yet.
Right. And she's like, I'm ready for you to drain me dry.
I'm already...
And I'm not talking about my blood.
I hate where this conversation's going. So he's like, I will make my leave. And he gets up. He's getting ready to leave because he knows. He's done this.
Of course
it
he's
doesn't
done it
matter
before.
that it's been 200 plus years.
You never lose your game.
It's like
You might get rusty, but you never lose
It's
it.
like riding a bicycle or eating feme M&Ms.
Yeah.
You never forget how to enjoy it.
Yeah. And so he does a little smirk as he goes, I will take my exit, my lady. My lady. He kisses her hand even, my lady. Doffs a fucking fedora, and it came out of nowhere.
Tina flies off her couch.
Don't leave me!
Consent forms in hand, slams him down against the wall next to him, signs her name, giant letters.
She signs his name.
She signs his name too and turns to him. Huh? Huh?
And then he just removes the cape, and that's all you need.
Throws it in front of the camera. He doesn't need anyone else seeing this shit.
Griff,
Murray.
Swedes and scale, 8. And they don't even show anything.
It's the power of illusion, though. Or not illusion, imagination.
Yeah.
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 So no, I think you're right. I don't know if I can go as high as 8.
I just give it an 8. Oh, I give it an 8. I give it a 10, but I got to see something. I got to
Yeah,
see
no.
penetration or something.
You're willing to go 8 on the Speedson scale without any kind of like.
That's how powerful. Maybe I was in the cock smog.
You were in the smog.
That's how powerful it was.
Wow. Okay. So I gave
It's a
it
supernatural cock smog, by the way.
a big old 6.5 for me.
Okay.
So, because you're right, his moves, the consent form, all of that shit. If there was music, it would have gone up to a 7 for me.
Yeah.
If maybe
There was music by the people who sing "Don't Rock the Boat, Baby."
yeah, maybe I'd be okay with that.
I'm sure they want to shoehorn one more song. in
One more
this, 'cause
song
They
in
do
there.
a lot in this movie.
Oh, what else could have done it? If maybe there was a butt grab or a dick grab or something, clean 8 for me. Like something really heavy, suggestive like that.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been an 8.
So now we're back to Gordo. He is digging up the body of Billy, opens it up, and Billy immediately goes for him. He's a vampire. He's
a
blood.
green face.
And fucking Gordon just takes him out. Who fucking cares if he's a fucking vampire?
Again, love Gordon. Here he is, gets surprised by this fucking ghoulish Billy, and he just dodges and fucking pummels the shit out of him with a shovel. He's dead. It doesn't matter.
Just happened to bring a steak with him, so he just pounds it with his fist.
Well, we passed over it. I missed it in the notes, and I remembered it later. But yeah, because even Michelle's about to bring it up here. We saw on his desk when he went back to his lab that he has all these books about the dead.
Right.
So he's been studying up on this shit.
Yeah, it's amazing he made that jump to vampires just because the bodies were drained of blood.
Well, I mean, when you're living in an age that has like caricatures of vampires and everything, and then you come across bodies with the 2 dots on their neck, you're like, okay, maybe.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
That's enough for
So
me.
he just pound with his fist. He just pounds that fucking stake into Billy's heart.
Maybe you like this explanation better. The smog says more than just fuck me.
Did you notice how bad the dummy was? That looked nothing like even a human being as he's pounding it in. And
Oh, yeah.
it was awful.
That was an awful. Yeah.
And then, of course, Michelle's freaking out. She's like, "You just killed a motherfucker!" And he's just like,
He
"Baby,
explains it to her.
baby." Twirls his mustache.
Again, he didn't even have to explain it any further than baby, and twirling his mustache because, again, the powers.
And she's like, "I guess you got a point. He was a vampire. Is that why you had all those books on vampires on your desk?"
Right.
And he's like, "Look, man, I can't just tell Jack. I got to show him.
Yeah.
Because that hunky won't believe me shit."
Right. Even though they're like close friends and everything, he still knows that vampires is a bridge too far. He's going to have to show.
We need,
somehow.
well, he's like, we need to check out that cabbie. She's got to be a vampire too. It tracks. We just saw a vampire.
Right.
We know she was bitten. We
Twice
need to
bitten.
get Jack over there. We need to go to Jack's. Me and Jack are going to go over to the morgue and check out that body.
Damn right.
So he calls up Sam, the hook hand.
Yep. Finds a payphone, calls him up, asks him to pull out the cabbie because she's in deep freeze.
Right.
Pull her out, put her in the fucking autopsy room or whatever fucking room, lock that shit up, get out of the room. Make sure everything's locked up, though.
So Sam does pull the body out, and he's just about to lock the door, and he gets a phone call. And, you got to answer the phone. So
Right.
he forgets to lock the door.
So Gordon drops Michelle off over at Peter's house.
Yeah, Jack's house.
Jack's Peters.
And then even they're like, Michelle's like, "Is it okay if I stay?" Of course. Just some good white people.
This is where we learn that these two families are actually friends.
Right.
Yeah, these two couples, I should say.
And so Jack and Gordon go to the morgue. All right, the Sam is doing his job. He answers another call. And then out of that fucking room that he forgot to lock, I was nice of the cabbie to put on a robe.
Yep.
She's very demure.
That's right.
Because she just had like a fucking blanket on her before. And it was weird how, how come Blacula doesn't get pale? Everybody gets pale but Blacula.
That's true.
He just gets the fucking Wolfman hair.
He just gets Wolfman hair.
But yeah, she's got the white streak in her hair, and her hair's like fucking like the Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, it's she's been hit by lightning.
And she's just running towards the camera, and then she jumps on Sam. And this is where perfect thing, Sam could have stabbed her, impaled her with that hook. No.
Right. And before we get back to that morgue, we get a quick cut of Mamu. He's satisfied, Tino.
Right.
Job well done.
He's ready to leave. He's just like...
Right. Of course, Tina's begging to go home with them. Like, you can't just leave me here. In 10 more minutes, I'm going to need more of that.
My dear, in 10 minutes, the sun will rise, and then I will perish. I have to leave. And really, he's got a date with another chick. That's really why he has to leave. But
He's a player.
and she's like, I'll wait for you. Of course you will. And then he leaves.
So, Gordon and Peters arrive at the morgue. And Gordon's checking around like, oh, shit, what the fuck happened to Sam? Peters just walks into the back where the cabbie's...
Well, you see blood splattered on the fucking wall.
Right. And so Gordon's checking all that out, doing the detective job. The detective just walks into the room that the cabbie was initially pulled into, and there's just a body with a sheet over it.
Right. And he's like, well, that must be the cabbie. I guess this proves your fucking vampire theory's bullshit, because there's the body of the cabbie. Rips off the fucking... Meanwhile, I want to point out, as they show them driving up to the morgue, pitch black outside.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then he pulls off the fucking sheet, and it's the cabbie, and she's like attacking him. Gordon whips out his giant crucifix,
Yep.
pins her against the wall, goes up to the little blinds, opens them a little, the Venetian blinds.
Yeah.
And then it's like in daylight all of a sudden. And she's like, ah! And she's like fucking getting on my nerves with her screaming and shit.
I guess we have two continuity issues with this movie.
Yeah. And she just She just goes out of frame. They don't have
Yeah.
the budget to make anything happen. And we're using the world of imagination to go, oh, she must be like dust now or something.
So now that Peters has seen it live and for himself firsthand, it's like, shit.
Gordon, I believe you. And this is why, Jack Peters, you're one of the good ones.
That's right.
The one white guy in the movie that's a decent human being. Because he believed Gordon after he had had to see it for himself.
That's right. I mean, I get it. Vampires are a far stretch. You need to see it for himself. But the fact that these two couples are friends, that he's willing to work with Gordon, that he wants the same things Gordon wants in this community. Jack, he's a hard ass. It's because he's a cop, and cops mostly suck. But hey, at the end of the day, he's one of the good ones.
So they head over to Jack's office, the police station, and Gordon's like, we need to get an APB out on fucking all these vampire victims. All fucking Jack's thinking about his job. He's like, I'm going to lose my job over this shit.
He is a cop after all.
Right. I got to talk to my union rep first, Gordon. I'm sorry.
Right. What am I supposed to do? Put an APB out on fucking dead F slurs? They were talking about Bobby.
Yeah, it's just like, what are we going to fucking do, man? So Gordon's like, look, I'll be at the club. I still got to go to the club, even though we got all this shit happening. There's a great band playing. They're called Mayhem. Have you heard them? They're great.
Oh, my God.
And
they really make you question what we're doing with, our world today.
I think his lab was in the bathroom of this club.
It might have been.
'Cause we never got it, like an establishing shot of where it was.
That's a good point.
So he's like, I'll be at my club.
Murray, I think you're onto something.
You let me know if we find Bobby or any of these bodies. Because Bobby's still on the loose. We don't know what the fuck he's up to.
So just like when we were having Michelle's party, everyone's sitting at their table right at the front row. And 3 seats filled, 1 seat empty. And of course, Mamu's there, and he's gonna show up late.
Right, and he's then there's a waitress. He's like, "Get me a Bloody Mary," and he's like, "Wink," 'cause he knows. I think he senses Gordon's finally on to him.
Oh yeah, no. When he sits down, there is an aura. The Smogs have turned.
It's like in Big Trouble in Little China when Lopan and Egg are fighting, and there's those avatars fighting.
Yes.
It's like the Smog. There's like a dragon and a fucking pit bull or some shit, and they're fighting. We're not seeing that because we don't have the budget to see that, but that's in my mind. That's what I'm seeing.
Murray, I mean, it almost sounds like Murray's making this up on the spot, but Murray, of course, is a smogologist, and so he has known this shit.
I haven't admitted some smog in my life.
Right. So that is exactly what's going on here. And right in front of him, staring daggers into Gordon's eyes, he orders a fucking Bloody Mary.
Right.
And sure enough, Gordon starts leading in with some questions, taunting Mamu.
Yeah.
What are you, in the cult? Are you a devil worshiper? What's your deal?
Yeah, he's like, isn't that your thing? You're Wakandans? Aren't you known for voodoo and all that shit? I have no idea what you're talking about, my boy. I mean, I do have a passing interest in the occult. But
I mean, everything that seems so far-fetched, it has a grain of reality to it, doesn't it, my boy?
how about vampires? You believe in those? You believe in vampires? My dear boy, that sounds ridiculous, vampires. I do have a fascination with them, I would say, by the way. And Gordon's like, that's funny. Did I tell you the police are on the lookout for vampires tonight?
Yeah, we're going to be
really?
spreading a whole net across the city, looking for vampires and ghoulish people with green faces.
And then finally, Mamu's had enough. He's just like, I will not be more insulted. Tina, I have to leave. So, Tina, are you coming with me? And Tina's like, fuck yeah, I'm coming with you. And Michelle's like, no, because she knows he's a fucking vampire. And just as that happens...
It's always Skillet's cue. As soon as Mamu gets up to leave, Skillet sits down. Hey, let me get that cape from you. I'll pay you good.
And then he's like, and then fucking Mamu and Tina leave. And then he's like, have you seen Nancy lately?
Yeah, she said she was going to develop those photos 2 days ago.
And then Gordon's like, shit, I already paid for him too. That bitch, I'm going to go fucking see what's up. So he goes, like you said, she lives next door.
They know she lives next door.
Kicks the fucking door and, bitch, where's my fucking pictures? And then it's like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? Because he sees it's a mess. The place has been ransacked.
Right.
Which would be any house in LA, in the South Central LA, if the doors open, would be ransacked whether there's a vampire on the loose or not.
Right.
So he's like checking things out. And this is where he notices that there's a negative in some kind of like machine where you can like I guess enlarge it and see the shit, and he sees that fucking picture of Tina with nobody.
Right, and he puts it together because again he's been reading the books.
I love how it took now for him to like he's taunting Mamu or just fucking minutes earlier.
Maybe he didn't think that a vampire could have such a strong smog. So
that's probably it because he's like nobody could be better than me.
Right. I'm kind of surprised he didn't think it was a supernatural power that could match his smog or something. But he was probably like, I mean, the thing about vampires is they're kind of lifeless. And I'm full of life, so that's why my smog is so strong. So I think he needed this evidence to really put it together.
So he heads straight over to Tina's and immediately gets his ass whooped by fucking Mamu. Mamu just punches him.
Jesus Christ, and vampires are supposed to have crazy strength.
Right. But that mustache absorbed a lot of the impact.
The mustache did. You see like a slow motion of it just like ripple through his mustache.
Yeah, Dana White was like, I want that guy.
I want that guy. 3 hairs fell out.
And then Mama Walde takes off to we're guessing, his coffin.
That's right. So an officer spots Mamu running by.
Why were the cops wearing crash helmets?
Just in case.
Riots just breaking out? Well, I guess it was in the era of the riot.
It was, yeah, that's true.
So the cops are driving their car with their crash helmets on, and they notice, they're like, black man. That looks suspicious.
Yeah.
And one guy gets out, follows them into an alley, and Mama Walde holds his ground, stands his ground, and kills, snaps the dude's neck.
I mean, that's those
Gordon, who's now taken over the whole fucking thing. He's a doctor, by the way. He's taken over the fucking case.
Yeah.
Ordering officers around. They're listening to him.
Oh, yeah. They all go down the alley to find, like, the dead officer's body and everything. And then they head back to Tina's place, maybe? Yeah, Tina's place. And they're going to call up Peters and plan it all out. Because, I mean, come on. They're trying to hunt a vampire at this point.
Right. He's like, I read in this book that I was reading that vampires, they have to return their coffin when daylight comes.
And in this town, who knows when daylight's going to come? I mean, we drove over to the morgue earlier, and it was nighttime. I opened those blinds, and it was daytime. So
a patrol car, remember, we've gotten an APB for all possibly homosexual vampires. So they're looking, and they spot one. They're like...
I was in L.A., and I was looking for a gay dead black man.
And they're like, wow, that young man, he looks gay and black and dead. I think that might be the guy we're looking for. And the guy goes, they all look the same to me. I don't know. And we're like, oh, come on.
But unfortunately, they do lose Bobby in an alley. So they ask, well, what alley? What corners are you at? What streets are you on?
So they cut back to Gordon and Jack. I think they're in the police precinct.
Yeah.
And there was something on IMDb they pointed out that there's a map on the wall for Staten Island, even though they're in fucking LA, apparently. But I don't know if that's true or not because we don't check our facts. And
goddamn right.
They got the map out and they're like, that's the warehouse district. That's where fucking that gay homosexual got killed.
Right.
He did not say homosexual.
This is true.
And like, let's go get him. That's where he's got to be. That's where his coffin has to be. So they go straight to the warehouse.
Everybody's going there. They're going to be surrounding the building. Cops.
Gordon in charge. He's a doctor, remember, but he's in charge.
Yep.
And he's like, Jack, you do this, you do that. He's like setting up, like, we're going.
Everybody's rushing into the warehouse, and then what's his name? Jack notices Barnes is there. He's like, Barnes, where the fuck you been? Let's go. Let's get in there. So here's where you have another third break in the logic of how vampires turn. Because it took, what's his name, a day? It took Bobby a day and a half. It took Nancy like 6 hours. And here we are
Nancy
with...
like an hour.
Yeah, an hour. And now we have Barnes, who it's been a day and a half, 2 days, and he's still showing signs of being a human. He's not dead at all.
Well, no, it gets even more ridiculous because I think you might be confused because all of a sudden vampires the ones at Bobby's turn, the ones at Sam is turn. Sam's still on the loose.
Yeah.
Apparently, white vampires do your thing. Black vampires, we have to kill you because the black vampires, and there's some white vampires too. It's a very diverse group of vampires.
It was.
They start coming out, and some are totally all in on the vampire thing. They got their capes on. Some are, some have cowls. Some are looking like fucking Omega Man vampires.
Yep, you could call.
Some fucking have the fucking giant eyebrows. Some are just fucking green. It's a rainbow coalition of vampires happening here.
We're seeing that bullets, of course, are ineffective on them. Yeah, ineffective. And so, I mean, who are we going to leave it up to figure anything out? Because Dr. Gordon's going to do everything here. So he finds all the oil lanterns. He's like, hey, guys, throw these oil lanterns at them.
Which apparently have some ignition thing inside of them because they start throwing lanterns and they just burst into flames.
I love it. Holy water, apparently. They're from Transylvania. They're probably full.
They got
of
a great
water.
deal on them because there's cases of these fucking
thousands
lanterns,
thousands,
and it's like a fucking water balloon fight. Like Jack and fucking Gordon are having a hell of a time just throwing them. Then this is what happens. We were just talking about fucking the vampire thing. A cop gets attacked. Like fucking one vampire lands on a cop. Gordon goes to save him. Jack's like, it's too late, and grabs him and pulls him away. Then a whole bunch of vampires jump on him. Immediately he becomes a vampire.
Right. All over the place with the turning. But yeah, I mean, Jack Peters sees Barnes and gets frozen.
Well, because he's like, I've never killed a white man in my life. So he doesn't know what to do. He's like, black guy, I would immediately shoot this guy.
Okay.
So he's, like you said, he freezes. Gordon, he's just like, I'll kill a white guy.
This scene is amazing just to watch because you're seeing Gordon. He's never like in frame. You just see him scooting around the room, fucking taking care of business, and then throwing Jack over his shoulder and running him out of this room because it's completely engulfed in flames at this point.
No, there's a great scene where he grabs Barnes, throws him down, and then Valmus Rasulullah just leaps in the air with a fucking stake. Like, great acting job.
Nice.
And then just, like, gets him right in the heart.
Nice.
Like, he, like, splashes him with the fucking stake.
Love it.
And then he fucking carries Jack out.
So, they bar off the room, and they're, like, in this other quarter of the warehouse, and that's where Mamu is waiting for them. And he tells Gordon that Tina, she means more to him than anything in the world.
Right. He also says, oh, you're looking for my coffin? Well, I figured that. I moved it.
That's right.
And then he turns into a bat, which we get some, 1972 level special effects.
What you would expect.
It was it was
bad.
It was an animated bat. It was better than something on a string that they were just going.
Yeah, no, I didn't mind it. It doesn't take you out of the movie at all.
So now Gordon and Michelle, they're trying to get through to Tina. She is lost in the smog.
Oh man, it's like when you're trying to break someone from a heroin habit, orange juice and coffee might help her.
Yeah, they're having a vampire intervention.
Yeah.
And she's like, but he's so smooth. Like we get Gordon rolls his eyes. Yeah, I get it. There's somebody as cool as I am. All right.
Okay, come on. He's not that good. I mean, look at me. Look at me.
I don't even need to wear a cape.
Fuck yeah.
But I'd look great in a cape. Also, Thalmus Rasulullah was in Willie Dynamite. He was the pimp that had the cocaine and the fucking watch.
Yes, he was. Hell yeah. Oh, that was so good.
So she's just like, okay, I guess you're right. He's not that bad.
She heads to her room to pout. And we go outside where we see the police are forming a barrier around their building.
Right.
Because they know now that Mamu is just trying to get to Tina.
Right.
So
we see him all vamped out up on the rooftop looking down.
Yep, on an adjacent building.
Right, and he turns into a bat, and a woman's like, there's a bat there!
Well, slow your roll here a little bit because he can telepathically talk to Tina. And so he starts telling her, my dear, here's what's going to happen. And we just see her responding. We don't even hear his words. Right. We just hear her reacting to him.
We just hear more of that fucking song from the club. What's going on with these club songs? All right.
Oh, that's good. When a good beat gets in your head, it just stays there.
Like, I hear you. I'll be there. And then he turns into a bat, and a woman notices it and starts screaming, it's a bat!
That's right. So everybody's freaking out. Everyone's trying to follow the bat. And in all the ruckus, Tina just slips right out.
She pulled a Chappie. She was just so confident, she just walked right through a police barricade.
That's right. If you act like you belong, you belong.
So she starts just walking. She's lost in the smog again. And she heads over to like a chemical plant.
Right. She's being noticed by patrol people and everything. They're like, I think this is the woman that we're supposed to be protecting. She's out here in the middle of nowhere. But, they're slow to react to it. And so she's able to get into this factory.
Right. And I felt like I was in Space Mutiny now because they're just in a fucking.
I know. I'm like saying they're going further down and down and down, but we're gonna see in a little while here that it's like no, they've been on like the main level the whole time or something.
Right.
Levels don't make sense in this part.
Yeah, it's like because we've learned that these are the kind of buildings that are in post-apocalyptic future worlds.
Right.
It's always just a factory, like a water treatment plant.
Right.
No, this is the new lair for Mama Walde. So Gordon and Jack show up. Gordon is like, all right, I want you guys there. I want you guys there. He's just taking over.
Right. And of course, keep an eye out for his coffin. That's the key to everything here. So inside, we're getting officers closing in on Mamu. They're taking shots at trying to take shots at Mamu. Of course, they fucking hit Tina.
Well, no, yeah, because Mama Walde's with Tina, and they're walking down the hallway, and a cop's like, freeze, and they're still going. He's like, he doesn't know. He's like, his instinct when he sees a black person's back is to shoot, so
right.
he just immediately starts shooting.
Right,
but he hits Tina. He doesn't hit Mama Walde.
That's right,
or maybe he does, but he doesn't.
Because he was nervous,
and
they were so close to harming him.
Mama Walde kills him, and then she's dying. She's been shot, and she's like, I'm not scared. Change me, Mamu. Change me.
I need to live with you forever throughout all space and time.
And then he goes down and he bites her.
But he is not happy that he had to change her.
I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why
They
either.
could be together for eternity.
But
I thought that was the whole point. He was going to turn her.
I thought so too.
Because if he wasn't, then date Mama Walde. What do I care?
Maybe he wanted her to age up a little bit. Maybe he didn't want her to be
MILF.
Yeah, maybe he wanted her to be. Maybe he did want to have a Can vampires have babies?
No.
Yeah, so maybe. Wait, can he still produce sperm though?
No, it's just
It's
like
blanks.
it's like little bats.
Little bats.
It has bat wings. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And so so he changes her.
He calls out to everybody in the fucking building. He's like, Let you be aware. This fucking warehouse will be your tomb. He's out to kill every single person in here.
So then we get some cat and mouse shit where we see Mama Walde taking people. He throws a guy into a fucking circuit breaker.
It's just a wall of switches and shit, and it explodes.
It was the same death that the guy had in Street Fighter 2.
That's right, yeah.
And then he, fucking just breaks the dude's neck. Somebody shoots him. He Donkey Kongs the guy. Just throws some fucking barrels at him.
I love that. Yep, that was very good.
All right, and this is where Gordon and Jack finally find that coffin. And they're like, all right, it's like, on 3, I'm going to open it, and you're going to stab it, Jack. All right? 1, 2, 3. And they just immediately stab it. Oh, my God, Griff. It ain't fucking Mama Walde. It's Tina.
With white streaks in her hair.
Right. And she turned almost immediately. Like, again, what's the fucking time frame?
Let's not be so loose with it. Let's figure this
and
out.
I got to give it up to them because most people wouldn't have the balls to kill the female lead off. I mean, she dies. This is it.
Yeah.
They don't save her.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, shit. My hands were tied, Gordon. I don't know what to tell you. I didn't mean to kill her, all right?
Right.
And then Mama Walde shows up. And we're like, oh, shit. And they're getting ready to fight him.
Yeah, they're expecting this to be an all-out, bloody-ass battle. He stands over Tina. He kisses her hand. He starts going on a whole fucking speech about how this was what he existed for. Wakanda means nothing to him if Tina's not there by his side. Excuse me, Luva.
He goes, Wakanda forever? I wanted Luva forever. Beautiful. I think that was in Shakespeare somewhere.
It was definitely in
Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah,
I think that was from Romeo and Juliet.
Luva and Mama Walde.
Yes. And he's like, I bid you adieu. Adieu.
He turns to fucking Gordon, who's pulling the crucifix. My boy, that is not necessary.
And Gordon goes to Jack, I could have took him. I mean, I could have took that guy, motherfucker.
That's right.
And then he just walks up. Once again, it was pitch black just minutes ago. Middle of the day. It's noontime.
Yep. High noon.
He walks to the roof of the building, just walks out. Great job. He's stumbling. He's playing it up. Collapses. Fucking, for some reason, maggots appear on his face. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
Really awful fucking whatever that face was supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a skull face.
Rough.
Because we get the old school like they used to do with when Lon Chaney Jr. turned into the Wolfman, where they take a picture and then they take another picture where it's like getting worse, and then it's a skeleton.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, play that fucking Rock the Boat Baby song.
Rock the boat.
So there you have it, people. Blacula.
It's a great way to start out Black History Month.
Well, it's getting better, Griff. Because here's the thing, people. Blaxploitation History Month
Blaxploitation
is about educating you on not just the hits. We all knew, everybody knows Blacula.
Right.
And that's why we gave you that.
We know it by name. I hope everybody gets a little closer to it, though, because it is a fun 90-minute movie.
Well, there is the sequel, Scream, Blacula Scream,
Ooh.
with Pam Grier.
Oh.
But no, Griff, this year we're going all over the fucking country. We started in L.A., we're going to go to Philadelphia, we're going to go to Chicago, and we're going to go to, you heard me right, Detroit.
Oh, the big cities.
But not just yet. We're going to Philly next week for a little old movie from the mind of the pimp poet Iceberg Slim.
Ooh.
Trick Baby.
Okay.
That's the one you probably don't know, but you need to know. So tune in next week to hear us talk about it. And as always, keep it warm.